If every relationship eventually leads to feeling stuck, caught in a pattern of pulling away or chasing people who can't meet you, ultimately leaving you unsure whether to move forward or to let go. This video will show you exactly which kind of stuck that you're in, why it happens, and how to stop it so that you can finally break that cycle. Because most people think they're afraid of the wrong relationship. They're not. They're usually afraid of one of two losses: wasting their life or making the wrong choice and regretting it forever. And when you're trapped between those two fears, it doesn't feel like indecision. It feels like paralysis. Once you see your specific pattern and what's actually happening in your nervous system, that stuck feeling can finally start to loosen. Now, most people assume that feeling stuck or uncertain means, I don't know what I want. I'm bad at relationships. Something must be wrong with me. But, and this is important, feeling stuck in a relationship isn't a personal failure. It's a nervous system response to perceived loss. It's what happens when every option feels like a loss. It's where you're not standing at this clean fork in the road, but it's like you're standing in quicksand. And the harder that you try to think your way out, the deeper you sink. Here's what you have to understand if you want to get unstuck once and for all. There isn't just one way to be stuck. There are four. And if you don't know which one that you're in, nothing you do is going to bring you clarity. We're starting with awareness, right? So as I go through these, notice which one that your body responds to. Type 1, fear of commitment. This is the classic where you want closeness until it suddenly feels permanent. Then your body pulls back. Not because you don't care, but because commitment feels like a loss of self. It's like you're a cat approaching a bathtub, curious about what's inside until, oh crap, there's water in there. Type 2, it's healthy, but you can't stop wanting something else. On paper, the relationship is good, maybe even great, but inside there's restlessness. And it's not necessarily because something's wrong, but often it's because your nervous system never really learned to relax in stability. Because if chaos was familiar growing up, peace can feel suspicious. Type 3, you can't leave a relationship that hurts. You know something isn't right, but fear of being alone, guilt, finances, physical safety, or shame keep you frozen. It's like you're living in a house that you know isn't safe, but at least it's shelter, right? And then when you finally step away, that quiet can just feel so empty that you're pulled back just to avoid the void. Type 4, chasing emotionally unavailable people. You keep reaching for someone who can't fully meet you over and over again, and not because you're broken, but because that distance feels familiar. The chase most likely mirrors the dynamic that you witnessed or directly experienced with your parents growing up. And so now it's like plugging your phone into a broken outlet. And you keep hoping that this time electricity is just going to flow, but it never does. And until an electrician fixes it, the outlet will always be faulty. But here's the hard truth. You are not the electrician. No matter which type that you're in, almost everyone who feels stuck is caught between two fears. Fear of losing the relationship and fear of losing yourself. Because when both options feel dangerous, the system freezes. And you're not choosing at this point between right and wrong. You're choosing between two losses, the lesser of two evils. So inaction feels safer than any action at all. And this is why this pattern can repeat, even if the person you're in a relationship with changes. Your body isn't loyal to what's healthy. It's loyal to what's familiar, even if that familiarity hurts. It's like choosing a sagging old couch over a brand new chair because the old one feels like home. It feels comfortable to your body. And this is why people can confuse familiarity with intuition. When old wounds are still active, what feels right can quietly be what keeps you stuck. So what do most people do next? They think harder, pros and cons lists, endless conversations with friends, family, therapists, scouring every corner of the internet, reading article after article, and watching videos like this, hoping for the relief of clarity. And it feels productive because it releases dopamine. It gives you a sense of progress without movement, without actually having to make a decision. But overthinking and analysis won't lead to clarity because no one else can tell you what to do. It's like trying on everyone else's glasses to see what your life should look like. But no matter how many you try on, the picture remains blurry. Here's how you actually get unstuck, and it's probably not what you think. You don't get unstuck by forcing yourself into a decision. You don't get unstuck by finding the right answer. You get unstuck by restoring safety. Because when your nervous system doesn't feel safe, it's not asking, what do I want? It's asking, what do I need to survive? And those are two very different questions. When survival is the priority, every option feels dangerous. Staying feels like losing yourself, and leaving feels like abandonment or collapse. So the system freezes. Not because you're incapable, but because it's doing exactly what it's designed to do when it can't detect a safe outcome. Clarity doesn't disappear because you're broken. It disappears because clarity is actually a luxury state. It only comes online when your body believes that you'll be okay no matter what you choose. And that's why clarity doesn't arrive loudly. It doesn't come as some lightning bolt or a perfect thought. It arrives quietly when your nervous system stops bracing. And when that bracing softens, the answer that you've been trying to think your way into has a chance to just emerge on its own organically. So restoring safety isn't about calming down so that you can decide. It's about teaching your body that loss is survivable and that you don't disappear if things end. Doing this isn't a single practice that happens overnight. It's a signal that you send to your nervous system over and over. And there are a few common ways that signal gets sent. One, safety in the body. Physical movement that brings you out of your head and into sensation, like walking, yoga, strength, gardening, slow, repetitive tasks, especially movement that lets you feel yourself without urgency. Because this tells the nervous system, I'm here, I'm resourced, and I can tolerate being present. Two, safety through breath. And you do this by restoring functional breathing. This is key because most people are breathing dysfunctionally 24 hours a day, especially folks with anxiety or obsessive thinking. So then add to that regular functional breathing practices that will help to reduce chronic hypervigilance within your nervous system. Not to feel good, but to retrain the system out of constant threat detection. More intense breath work can help too, but only when guided because safety isn't about intensity. It's about regulation. Three, safety between parts. I'm a big fan of internal family systems, which is like parts work, inner child work. This helps to restore safety by resolving that internal tug of war. Because when the protector no longer has to scream to keep you safe, clarity stops feeling so dangerous. And you're no longer like choosing against yourself. Four, safety through anchors. Spending time with people who don't require performance, explanation, or collapse, and who you can really just be your authentic self with. Because your nervous system learns safety relationally, not just intellectually. So who you choose to spend your time with will shape what decisions feel possible. And lastly, five, safety through alignment. Looking honestly at where your life is out of alignment, where you're saying yes when your body is saying no, where you're betraying yourself to avoid loss. Correcting those discrepancies restores trust in yourself, and trust is the foundation of clarity. That's what gives you your agency back. To recap, here's what I want you to take away from this video. If you feel stuck in relationships, it's usually showing up in one of four ways. You're afraid of commitment, You keep feeling like something is better out there. You're staying in something that hurts. Or you chase people who can't fully meet you. But underneath all of those patterns is the same conflict. You're afraid of losing the relationship or losing yourself. And being stuck doesn't mean you're failing. It means it's an old survival strategy that has expired, but a new one hasn't formed yet. This is the in-between space that feels terrifying, but it's also where growth happens. You're just between versions of yourself. And the way through that space isn't by forcing a decision, it's restoring safety. And for most people, that safety starts by coming back through movement, through breath, trusted people, and living in alignment with what actually matters to them. That's what creates the agency that will help you actually get unstuck and break your patterns. So if you're scared to stay or scared to leave, you're not alone. And you don't need to rush a decision. Sometimes the bravest thing that you can do is to just stop forcing answers, let go, and start listening to your body. If this helped you feel calmer or clearer, you're exactly who I make these videos for. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bells, and stay with me to stay with yourself.